Hello everyone, I am Josh and welcome to this Sims 4 house building video. Now this house is a very small little cottage that I am calling Garden Cottage, mainly because of the landscaping, which is, you know, very lush and beautiful, and there's also some planting beds out the back, which you'll see once we get to that. So this house was going to be a kind of starter home. I was going to make it be a starter home for 2 Sims, which I believe is like 22,000 simoleons. So I think it's 20,000 if you have 1 Sim and 22,000 if you have 2 Sims. But it didn't really work out, so the house ends up costing like 87,000 or something like that. So yes, it's only I can manage to make a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom cottage cost 80,000 simoleons. But yeah, so the only problem I really had building this house was the roof, mainly because the second floor, as you can see, is kind of completely in the roof, and I had to figure out a way to make it so the roof didn't glitch through, because in The Sims 4, if you place a roof over another roof, it doesn't actually cut out the roof below, so the roof was all glitching into the room. You'll see I sorted it out. Anyway, right now I'm just adding on some nice color and just adjusting the roof, adding a foundation. You know, pretty simple house. It's a little 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom cottage. I do make it a bit blue, so like I have nice blue accents on the outside. There's some blue siding. You can see the front door is blue right now, but I do change that. And right now, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm just viewing the house. Oh, I just made the walls a little shorter. And yeah, so the shape does change a little bit. You can see here I'm adding a little piece onto the house. The bump out where the front door is also, I get rid of that, which you'll see in a moment. But yeah, so pretty simple cottage, getting in some windows here. And I don't know, with this house, I just felt like building something that was just really small and simple. I don't know. I just felt like doing it because I haven't really built a very small house in The Sims 4 yet. Again, like I said, it was going to be a starter home, but that did not work out. But, you know, maybe I'll do a starter home at some point in the future. I'll be a little bit more strict with myself, but I just wanted this house to be really nice, and I wasn't in the mood to be constrained by budget, so yeah. So right there you can just see I kind of changed the shape of the house a little bit, and here I'm going to get rid of all the roofs just so I can add this kind of trim around the house, as you can see. So it's kind of got a little bit of trim there around the roof, and now I'm putting the roof back, which again, I do fix that part where it's glitching through. You can't even see it now, but you know, I fix it up. Oh, right now I'm doing it. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm doing something different there with the porch roof. But yeah, so pretty simple house. I spent a lot of time on the roof, mainly because I had to redo it twice, and actually like 3 times. So yeah, this house, even though very simple, it's a very simple shape, it required a lot of roofing to go on, especially this angled part here, as you can see, because it would be very easy to do if we had like hexagonal or octagonal roofs. I say this in pretty much every build, don't I? But, you know, I just kind of had to make do with using some diagonals there. It turned out pretty well. So, there you go. As you can see, not too bad. Putting in some roof trim now, you know, just to make the roofs look quite a bit nicer. And, yeah, just sorting that out. Yeah, definitely going through a lot of choices there. Putting some small windows upstairs. I do make all the windows blue originally, but I do change that. Also, just getting rid of a little bit of the porch there because I didn't like it, extending that far over, moving the house. And now we're going to work on the floor plan, perhaps. I'm not sure, I don't think I do, but I do put the stairs in. So the upstairs only has 1 bedroom, and that's the only room up there, is just the bedroom, and the downstairs has the kitchen, living room, dining room, and bathroom. So most of the house is downstairs, but the bedroom's upstairs because there's just no room at all for a bedroom downstairs. Now here's where I fix the roof and where it doesn't glitch through anymore, which is always great. So I had to just kind of mess around with using those half gable roofs or whatever they're called, because if I just used one full roof, it would just cut right through, and that was not very nice. So just working that out, it took a bit of time, but you know. So there you go. I really wish The Sims 4 would cut out roofs like The Sims 3 did, but because it has the room-based system and all that, it just can't do it. So yeah, I just got it to work in the end though, so that's something to be happy about. Also, putting a chimney in. There is one actually fireplace in the kitchen. A bit of a weird place for the fireplace, but that's where I decided to put it. Also, putting in some flower boxes on the railings there on the front porch. I thought that was pretty nice, and getting in some stairs. Yeah, so the color scheme on this house is very simple. Oh, also you can see that weird grayness. That was the basement for a split second there. Yeah, I don't know why the game does that. Kind of like when you go to the basement level and you don't have a basement, it just glitches out. But anyway, the color scheme is very simple. It's just a light blue and a gray brick, and you can see I got the black shutters on the windows now. So, you know, very simple little house. And getting in some more windows on the sides, so the bedroom has plenty of light. The bedroom is actually pretty nice up there on the top level. You can see the roof is still glitching through, so I'm just kind of adjusting it, making it as tall as it can possibly be without clipping through. And there you go, so there's the bedroom. You can see pretty decent size. Down on the first floor, the bathroom is all the way to the left, and the kitchen is in the back. Also, I'm going to put the dining room and living room in, so just kind of splitting up the house here. It's not a modern house, so, you know, I thought there'd be walls inside, you know, like smaller rooms. It definitely seems like an older house, you know. So yeah, all the windows are done, and now we're going to be moving on to landscaping. With this house, I've finished like 99% of the landscaping before I do the furnishing, and then I just add some small details at the end, so no jumping around with this house, although that wasn't hard to do because it's so small. So yeah, putting in a nice hedge. You'll see I put a hedge around the whole property, which I really like. It's got these nice little flowers in it too. I don't usually do fenced-in houses. I think I did one or two in the past, but usually I don't do it. But I really like the hedge. It's very nice. Also some nice stepping stones up to the front stairs there, and putting in some bushes. You know, very lush landscaping. Again, that's why the house is called Garden Cottage, because it, you know, it's very pretty with the landscaping. You probably saw in the thumbnail. You know, very lush landscaping. There's a little garden out back. I thought it was quite nice. There's some nice plants all over the place here. Going down the side of the house, some nice blue, no, I think there's purple flowers, not blue. Well, anyway, also changing the fencing because I wanted to use the one that matched the column. And yeah, so that's pretty much that. I think I do put the garden beds in soon. Oh yeah, I also put a fountain in the front and a bird bath in the back. So, you know, I thought those were nice little touches. There's the planter beds right there, so you Sims can plant stuff if they want to. You know, it's a nice feature. Also some singular flowers. I don't tend to use the flowers that much. I usually use bushes, but I put a bunch of flowers in too because I thought that suited the style of the house. And yeah, so putting in some terrain paint, and that's the landscaping pretty much done. Now we're going to be moving on to the interior and putting in the back door and in some interior doors, and also some nice railings on the stairs, which were nice to have. It took me a while to choose the ones that matched the railing. And putting in some archways inside so you can get from room to room, and a nice tile here in the entranceway. So the entranceway, pretty small little room there at the front of the house, as you can see. And this is the living room here where I'm putting the flooring in. And I also put some little flower boxes out by where the kitchen's going to be. Those are the kitchen windows. And now we're going to start furnishing the entrance. So the entrance, pretty simple. As you can see, it's a small little room. It's a small little house, so it's not going to have a huge entrance. But you got a little side table with a mirror and some plants and some little details around the place. Pretty simple. Nice little mat there on the floor, so you don't get the flooring dirty when you walk inside. And yeah, so that's the entrance done. Pretty simple. Now moving on to the living room, which has a kind of white, beige, and light blue color scheme, which is very nice. There was no place for the fireplace because I really wanted to have a fireplace, so I put it in the kitchen, which actually works out pretty well. So, that's what I ended up doing. Also, putting a chair in the corner. I do move it though. I don't keep it there either because there's no room for a bookshelf, so the chair goes next to the stairs. Put a nice bookshelf in with a lamp. Also a little art easel. If your Sims want to practice painting, they can do that. And, pretty simple little room. Again, the reason this house costs so much is because I didn't skimp on furnishing. Like, even though it's small, I still use a lot of expensive furniture and a lot of furniture in general. So that's why this house costs so much. So, I mean, if you really want to make this house a starter or something, you could probably pretty easily just delete all the furniture and put in some cheaper stuff, and it would probably bring the cost down quite a lot. But here I'm putting in it's a little side table here with some details on it, and a nice mirror there. Pretty simple living room. Kind of cluttered. There's a lot of furniture in a small room, but that's kind of the look I was going for. Here's the dining room, which you can see is actually pretty decent in size. You've got a full table there with 6 chairs, so you could technically host parties here if you wanted to, if you have 6 Sims. Obviously, the max amount of Sims that could live in this house is 2, but, put a couple chairs over there, and some nice artwork on the walls. Make it look nice and lived in. some like more rustic stuff. Also, of course, the china on the walls. There was no room for a china cabinet, so I put plates hanging on walls. I thought the plates kind of made sense in this style of house. Anyway, that's the dining room done, and now we're moving on to the kitchen, which you can see has orange walls in it, which I thought were kind of interesting. And yeah, pretty nice white cabinetry here. Very simple. It's actually a pretty good sized kitchen, as you can see. I mean, it's definitely got a lot of size. It's got a lot of size. It's definitely a good size. So, if you seems like to cook, they can have plenty of room to do that. Also, there's some nice blue tile flooring. So I got like the orange and blue and white color scheme going on, which I thought was pretty nice. Also got like a little side table there with some china on it. Putting in a bunch of details around that place. There's the oven, which I had forgot to put in. It's usually good to have an oven. And yeah, so that's pretty much the kitchen done. Putting in some curtains and a little fire alarm, which is always good to have. I was going to put a tile backsplash in, but I just didn't like it. I couldn't find one that looked good, so I just gave up on that. And also, to finish it off, some details on the fireplace mantle. And now we're going to do the bathroom real quick. It's a pretty simple bathroom. Not a bad size. Like, considering the size of the house from outside, it's a pretty good sized rooms inside. So, got a tub, shower, sink, toilet, everything you might need. And yeah, so that's pretty much the bathroom done. Now we're moving upstairs to the bedroom, which is very cheerful. As you'll see in a moment, got the yellow on the walls. And, I thought it was a nice, bright and cheerful bedroom. I thought the house was all mostly a nice, cheerful house, And yeah, so adding in the bedroom here, we're almost done already. I know this is a very short build, but then again, it was a very small house. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you check out some of my other videos on my channel. I make lots more house builds, and I also do some house remodeling. Not that much anymore, but I might bring that back. And I also do some Let's Builds and things of that nature. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed adding in some outdoor furniture and also add in some outdoor lighting. Anyway, after this building part, there will be some screenshots for you to enjoy, so hopefully you stick around for those. Adding in some more flowers and a little bit of dirt terrain paint, of course. And I'm also going to add in some outdoor lighting here on the porches, so it's nice and lit up at night. And yeah, also going to put in a few more trees because I wanted to make the house look a bit more sheltered, and that's pretty much it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.